All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling one of the most intriguing ideas from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. We're talking about law number 3, and it's all about the massive strategic advantage you get by being, well, unreadable. But hey, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me ask you something. How predictable are you really? Think about it at work, with your friends. Do they always have you pegged? Do they know exactly what you're thinking or what your next move is? We're always told that being transparent is a good thing, right? But in the high-stakes game of power and strategy, Greene says that can be your biggest weakness. And that brings us right to the heart of Law 3, Conceal Your Intentions. The logic here is pretty ruthless, but it's simple. You want to keep people off balance, keep them in the dark. Don't ever show them the real purpose behind what you're doing. Because if nobody knows what you're actually after, how can they possibly get in your way? So let's unpack this. Why is being an open book such a liability?
Yeah, to really get why you'd want to hide your intentions, we first have to talk about the problem. The problem with being an open book. So, according to Greene, this is just how most of us are wired. We're open books. We say what we feel, we blurt out our opinions, we can't help but reveal our plans. We want to be honest. We want to be authentic. But from a purely strategic point of view, he says that's a huge mistake. The moment you show everyone your cards, you've just given away all your power. Okay, so what is the real danger here? What's so bad about being an open book when we're talking about power? This, right here, gets to the absolute core of it. If you're completely open all the time, you become so predictable, so familiar, that it's basically impossible for anyone to truly respect or fear you. And look, power isn't just about people liking you. It's about inspiring a little bit of awe, maybe some mystery. When you're as easy to read as a bedtime story, sure, you might be nice, but you're never going to be powerful. Okay, so how do you actually do it? How do you conceal your intentions? Well, the first big tactic Greene lays out is something called the red herring. And this isn't just about keeping your mouth shut, it's about actively throwing people off your trail. Think of a red herring like, a magician's trick. It's a shiny object. You dangle some fake goal or some false desire in front of your opponents, and they get so fixated on that decoy, they're totally blind to what you're really doing on the side. The book gives us this fantastic historical example. It's the story of Ninon de Lenclos, a famous 17th century courtesan. She was advising this young marquis, who was head over heels for a countess. Problem was, the marquis was a total open book, and because of that, the countess just wasn't interested. So Ninon's advice? It was a complete masterclass in how to use red herrings. Just look at how every single step here is a brilliant piece of misdirection. First, faking indifference. That totally threw the countess off. She was expecting him to be fawning all over her, but instead she gets confusion. Then, inspiring jealousy. Bam! He shows up with other beautiful women, and suddenly the countess sees him as a prize that other people want. That's powerful psychology right there. And finally, being unpredictable. That kept her thinking about him, constantly trying to figure him out. He hid his real intention until the game was pretty much already won. All right, so if red herrings are all about active, loud misdirection, the second tactic, smoke screens, is way more subtle. It's all about hypnotic concealment. And this difference is so important. A red herring makes people look over there. A smoke screen? It makes them not even realize there's anything to look at in the first place. You're basically hiding in plain sight, right behind a boring, normal facade. This is the power of the classic poker face, right? A truly great player doesn't try to bluff with big, showy gestures. No, they just put on this bland, unreadable expression. And that simple smokescreen drives their opponents crazy because it gives them absolutely nothing to go on. And here's where it gets really, really clever. A smokescreen can just be a noble gesture, a simple act of kindness, a big show of honesty that can completely disarm people. Why? Because they want to believe you're a good person. And that belief makes them totally blind to the strategic move you're about to make. So all these tactics, the red herrings, the smoke screens, they all serve this bigger philosophy that Greene calls the art of indirection. And this right here is the end game for Law 3. It's about mastering the ability to thrive in a social world by, frankly, saying one thing while doing another. You appear to be this paragon of decency, following all the polite rules of society, all while you're playing a much, much deeper game underneath. But, and this is a big but, this law is not foolproof. Greene calls this the reversal. See, if you already have a reputation for being tricky or deceptive, then trying to act all innocent and naive is just going to make you look ridiculous. At that point, your best bet is to just own it. Lean into your reputation for being cunning.
And that leaves us with a really important question, especially for today. In our age where we celebrate radical transparency and sharing everything, is concealing your intentions an outdated, cynical strategy? Or is it actually more powerful now than ever before? In a world full of open books, who really holds the power? The person who shares every thought, or the one who truly understands the power of holding back?